This episode may contain language or discussions that may be offensive or triggering. Refer to the episode summary for details. So you might not want to hear this, but sometimes what your business needs in order for you to go to the next level is for you to slow down. Hey, it's your business bestie, Charlene Ketchum. Welcome to the She Confidential podcast. Today I had one of the most refreshing, soothing conversations with Robin Allen. Robin is a certified nutrition specialist and creator of Necessary Nutrition Vitamin D. This episode is a must listen for entrepreneurs who are feeling burned out, who are close to burnout, or recovering from burnout, or don't want to be burned out. I hope you enjoy. Here we are. So thank you, Robin, for chatting with me today. And for my vitamin D supplements, I've been telling people about those. I've
Welcome.
been looking for another source to purchase them, and because I have a vitamin D deficiency, like a lot of
Yeah,
folks.
like a lot of Black folk.
Yes,
Yes, that is
yes,
common,
yes.
very common.
Yes. And as you've been noting on social media recently, I just see
Yeah.
you've always known the importance of vitamin D, but it took COVID for me to really start doing my research and understanding
Yeah.
why it's essential for us to have that vitamin D in our systems.
Yeah, I didn't always know either, meaning it was almost like a stepchild. Like we're like, "Oh yeah, vitamin D is important." But during COVID is actually when, like everybody else, we're like, "Oh," because we never had COVID
Right.
before. And so that is when everybody was, "Oh wow, we got to get our vitamin D." So that is, I always knew it was important, but again, it was kind of like, yeah, get your vitamin D. But then we knew how important it was during COVID. And it was during COVID that I said, I really want to focus on this because it's an easy deficiency to have, but it's also an easy deficiency not to have. And what would happen if we got our levels really adequate or beyond adequate? What other things would we not have to do? What medications maybe would we not have to take? And I said, my mission now is to make sure that everybody knows about that. So, yep.
Thank you for
Yeah.
going for that mission. And we're going to dig into that a lot because I think it's really important for people to understand what motivated you to get into this wellness space and understand a little bit more about the importance of vitamin D. But before we get into all
Yeah.
of those details, I want to go like back to your
Okay.
journey because you took a little bit of a hiatus. And I really wanted to talk about
Mhm.
this because the She Confidential audience is primarily Black women entrepreneurs and Black women professionals. And we as
Ah,
Black women, we feel like we just can't stop. We got to keep pressing
no.
forward, even though our bodies
I
be
know.
hurting, we tired, we are breaking ourselves
Yeah.
down, and we're neglecting
Mhm.
the people closest to us a lot of times, and we don't know that we can press pause. But 6 years
Yeah,
ago, you did. You made a decision to press pause on scaling and
I
expanding your business so that you
did.
could be more present for your daughter. So
I did.
I would love to open by talking about that shift that you made 6 years ago.
6 years ago. So I grew my business. So my company is 14 years old, but I grew it 8 years. And then that's when I pressed pause. I didn't close it. We just didn't grow because as I was growing, I was doing, I was being, I was, the Black woman extraordinaire. And then my daughter said something like, Mommy, why are you never where, like, you're sending me to the birthday parties. All the other moms are there, but you're not there. And I was like, and then there was another lady who said to me, she said, you only get one chance. And I only have one child. So you only have one chance at motherhood, but you have, the next chapters to grow this business. And she said for her children were in their 30s and she missed them growing up. She missed building a relationship with them. And so she said if she had the opportunity, if she knew now or knew then what she knows now, she would have done it differently. So that conversation, and then my daughter saying like, Mommy, why aren't you with me? It hurt my feelings. And the word on the street is always, you can do it all, right? You can run the business, you can be this, you can
Hmm.
be, all of it. And I thought I could probably pretend to do all of that, but something would have to give.
Yeah.
And what would give would be my health and wellness, my well-being, my sleep. And I'm like, well, that don't make sense if I'm in the wellness industry. I can't be toe up and toe back trying to act like I'm not, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, and as all the time, the moms around me were, they were doing it all. They were, professional, running business, children, they were doing it all. But when we would get together, they would talk about how tired and their this hurts. And, so I said, what if I stepped away? And then it was hard because I'm like, well, my ego is tied to all of this here, my all of this. And so, but what if I stepped away? What would happen? And I did. And it was a sacrifice in the best way, because what I realized is I started to need less than I thought that I needed, because before I had an image, a lifestyle, and I let that go too. So all the fancy schmancies and the bottom colored shoes or purses, I let it go. So the money that I was no longer making, I didn't need it in that way. So I scaled down. It was difficult at first. Yeah, because it was like thinking about what other people are gonna think of you, right? Like, you're doing what? Nothing?
Mhm.
Like, huh? Yeah. So I did. I took that and spent time with my daughter. And now she's 17. So I'm like, all right, it's time to kick it back up.
Yeah.
But I did it. I did it. And I want to say that as women, as Black women, really as people, what happens, unbeknownst to us, is in the background of our what's going on, the inner workings of our bodies. We have what's called our adrenal glands. So our adrenaline, right? Like, if a tiger is trying to get you, you're going to run and you're amped up. And so because we don't shut it down, because we're going, going, going and doing and doing, doing, those adrenals are working, 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 and then they become burnt out. And then when they burn out, the other systems in our bodies malfunction. And then we have all these issues to deal with. And we don't really know, or a lot of times we don't recognize what's happening. And I knew that. And I mentally and physically am not doing the best for myself if I allowed my body to just go, 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 go.
Yeah. How did you
Yeah.
realize that you were doing too much?
How did I? Because I was doing too much. Because I was doing. I was never not doing. I was never being. I was always doing. Right. I was never just sitting. I was always moving and thinking and this and that and the next and this and next, 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 next. It was never let's sit and look at the sky and the
Mm.
trees, and I never sat down. Cause that people say, well, you can sit down when you're dead. People say that. I'm like,
I
right?
used to say
Or
that.
you can, yeah, yeah. Or you can sleep later. And I'm thinking, but my life is now, cause isn't it, well, people, it's like we spend all this time doing, because what we're trying to do is do it all so that we can have this future of whatever we want to have.
Mhm.
That's what they're telling us. Work, 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 so that later you don't have to. And I think if we're entrepreneurs, we are entrepreneurs. We're always going to be creating and working. This is your life. This is what you do. So there's never going to be, by just the pure essence of our personality, a time when we're not entrepreneuring.
Yeah.
But I learned that I have to carve out that time for myself. I have to. As entrepreneurs, the thing that gets the shortest end of the stick is us, right?
Baby,
Like,
yes.
we ain't on the schedule. We are not on the schedule. And that's what I learned. And I'm better for it. And my business is better for it. It runs differently because I run differently. I'm telling you, it's almost one of those things where it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe what can show up and how things can show up when you show up for yourself, because it's almost like we think, if I take this hour or this 2 hours for myself, that's this time I could have been doing XYZ. That's what we
Yeah.
feel. And I challenged myself because I felt that way too. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to take this hour because I'm missing something. And then what I had was more energy, more time, more focus, more clarity to get stuff done faster, differently. So I am married to the first thing in the morning, 2 hours. I'm greedy, 2 hours for myself, 2 hours every day. Yep. Yep.
Wow.
That's what I learned in that 6 years. So in that 6 years, when I downgraded, downsized, and then when I emerged differently.
Mm-hmm.
I emerged with that. I'm worth 2 hours now. Shoot, I'm worth 2 hours because everybody else is getting 2 hours. So I'm worth it. I'm worth it, and I don't play around. That 2 hours in the morning, I don't care which. I'm doing that, and it's blocked off. My phone is off. Don't bother me. I'm doing me.
Wow.
Yeah,
And so you start your
and
day with
everything
you.
still gets done. I do, and interestingly enough, everything still gets done. I never
Mm.
feel like, dang, if I didn't to spend those 2 hours, I would have been able to finish a task. Not happen. It doesn't happen. It's weird.
So what does that two
Like,
hours
it's
look like? What do you do for you in that 2 hours?
what do I do? So I get up. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna be transparent. So I get up and I sit on the pot,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because bowel movements are important,
Yes.
y'all. People think that no, they so are. Because I just want to digress with this, but that's like getting the
I think you
waste
just
out,
did a
right? You
post
eat
on that recently, didn't you? Yes,
good,
yeah,
yeah.
because I was like, yes, we don't talk about pooping enough, but you
I
like
don't.
pe-
And people get mad at me when I talk about it. They're like, what? I'm supposed to poop how many times? But I'm like, okay, when you eat, if you eat, your body takes the nutrients, if there were nutrients in the food, and the rest is
right,
waste. So if you don't poop, where did the rest go? Like if you didn't poop it out, where'd it go? It reabsorbed into your body. So you either poop it out or your body is
holding it.
taking in the waste.
Yeah.
And so I say you want to poop as many times a day as you eat, and people are like, "That's crazy," and it might be crazy for a lot of people. That's crazy, but you got to get it out. So first thing in the morning, I get it out. I get up, I give me some water, I sit on the pot, and actually, this is crazy. I have a table in my bathroom because I'm
Well,
crazy
because
like that,
most
but I have a table in
toilets, like they're not designed the way we're supposed to be positioned to
there.
be able
No,
to
yeah,
eliminate.
correct. So they say you need a squatty potty
Yeah.
or have your legs up. So, but I go potty or I go have my bowel movements and I journal. In that journaling, I do affirmations. So some people speak affirmations and I write them. And I've been journaling. So I'm 47, almost 40. So I'll be probably when this airs, I'll be 48. But I've been journaling since I was 10. So it's just a part of like me. So I do my affirmations every day. I journal and then I read. I read something. In particular, I read a book called The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. And it's a really, really big book. And you can listen to it as an audio on, I think, like YouTube. But I like it as a book because I like to write in the book. So I read that part of that book. It's a big, so just parts of it. And then I give time just to reflect on it because I'm just like digesting information, and it appears as though everything that I read is just what I needed to read
Mhm.
or hear in that moment, right? It appears as though I'm like, okay. So I read it and then I go and I exercise, which that for me, I can eat well all day, but the exercise is like my mind is trying to talk me out of it. I'm like, oh, I broke a toenail. I don't need to exercise today, or my tooth got a little little something in it. I don't need to exercise today. Anything will do. So that reading actually helps to remind me who I want to be
Mm.
because I'm like it's like a springboard, right? I've put some positive mental food in my brain, and then it's telling me like you know what who to be. And I'm like, okay, so then I can't now say I'm not going to honor myself with this exercise because as we get older, right, move it or lose it, right? And
Yeah.
so, and my bones, they be saying, "Girl, you ain't moving them enough." They be like cracking and stuff. So so I do my exercise. I do cardio and I do
Yeah,
weights.
because we lose bone density as women as we get
We
older.
do. We do. We do. I do that, and then after that, like legitimately, the 2 hours are gone. There, yeah. And after I exercise, I stretch, and then I sniff on an essential oil. There's this an orange essential oil, and I sniff on that, and then I take some breaths, and I'm like, "All right, let's go."
Yeah.
Like, I feel like ready. Yeah. I've never been as ready, like doing that, right? I'm ready to tackle the day, opposed to before where I'm like, oh, I got all this.
Yep.
It's like, just get up and just go. Right. This way, I'm easing into my day with the right mind and the right spirit. And then I have this energy. And with doing the exercise, I feel powerful. I feel strong. I feel like I've done something good for myself. I feel like I honored myself.
Yes.
So then I feel like I feel like I made love to myself.
Yeah.
Like I really do feel like that. I feel like nobody is going to treat me as well as I do, right? I can't expect anybody else to love and treat me better than I'm going to treat myself. And I feel also that we are blessed by in so many ways, and we've been blessed with this body and this temple, and I feel like I don't want to disrespect my blessing. I don't want to disrespect my blessing, and I think that's a new feeling because you take for granted, you breathe, you just do that
Mhm.
every day, you move your arms, I'm like, move your arm, you just you take for granted, right? And I'm like, no, 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 this is a blessing. This is a blessing. So I try to honor it every day. No, 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 not every day. I commit to 4 days a week, 4 days a week of that particular routine as far as the exercise is
Yeah.
concerned. I do the reading and all of that every day.
Mhm.
But I want to be, honest with myself. I don't want to say, I'm gonna do this I'm gonna exercise for 6 days, and I'm gonna do it 4 days. And one of those days, I'm really, really trying to get a reason not
Yeah.
to. So, and that's what I do for those 2 hours. And the days that I don't exercise, I read more, um, and then I jump into the day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. It's just so I gotta step it up and add more time on because I give myself 15 minutes everywhere, which is a step up because I used to wake up and be like in a frenzy. Now my 15 minutes doesn't include my bathroom time, but my 15 minutes is
Okay.
when I meditate or I'll do like some mobility exercises or breathing. And that's huge for me to just get in that 15 minutes. Cause I'm gonna tell you, I used to get up and immediately like start doing. I would check my
Yep.
email before I got out of the bed because, everything's on these phones now. And
Yep.
my new rule
Hmm.
is you got to be out of the bed and you got to be up for an
Hmm.
hour before you can check the
Yeah.
email or look at the news. That's the commitment
Yeah.
I've made to myself.
We need to hear that again, right? What you said, because it is common now because the phones are everything. You can just open your eye and the emails and the
Yeah.
messages, so it's easy. And in fact, you're curious, like what's
What did
happened
I
during the night,
miss while I was
Yeah,
sleeping?
what did I miss? And so you saying, and it's a reality. I had to force myself, just as those that are listening are gonna have to force yourself to do it. But I promise you all, it is worth it because your flow will be different. The opportunities that show up in your
Mhm.
life will be different. Hear me when I tell you, you it's like I really believe this, and maybe because I believe it, it happens. But it's like I've leaned into this, and then the opportunities that come are abundant in that they've they exceed the time, like they give me more time or they add more value because I've given that value to myself. It's just like a weird
Yeah.
universal law, right? That I'm showing up for me and I'm showing up for me and the universe is showing up for me. So you giving yourself 15 minutes, give yourself another
Yes.
15 minutes and
That's
see
my
what
challenge
happens.
for myself. And I can do
Yeah.
that. I can absolutely do that because you're right. Time time is so magical. Time really is
It is.
magical because it's about how we perceive it and how we experience
It's
it. And so when you just
yeah,
said like it's giving yourself more time back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's absolutely
yeah.
right." Because the
It's
more
hard
you're in the
though.
moment and you linger in these good moments that feel good and that awareness, like you
Yes.
amplify it. It's like it's endless. Like, when stuff
It's
feels good, you're like,
Charmaine,
oh my gosh, like,
there's an energy to it,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
There's this, it's like it, so you're doing you, and you have this energy now that's out, it's vibrating, and then you're attracting, you're picking up
Yeah.
on, or the people or the whoever, whatever you need is coming to you because you've set that energy right. This is what I've learned along the way, because so much of our business is our output and our energy. And I really had to say, what if I worked on my energy, increasing
Mhm.
that frequency and how I show up with the energy, what will that energy attract?
Yes.
My significant other is a scientist, so he studies physics and matter and energy and movement.
More magic.
And yeah, really, really, and that's a story in itself. But it just, he's not a business person per se, but he's a scientist, and I listen to him and we talk about things that are seemingly unrelated but very
Yeah.
related. And that's when I started to realize, right, thoughts are things, right, like the radio, like you can turn on the radio. I'm in California and the signal is coming in from wherever. So like our mind though is a has a frequency.
Yes.
So what if we tuned it? How do we need to tune it in? What do we need to tune it to? And I just started to really tap into that. That came out of those 6 years. That came out of those 6 years. Because all these things happened and I learned. And then I'm like, okay, I did 8 years of
Mm.
grind. I did 6 years of finding myself. And then I came out with the mix of finding myself, the grind, and now what? And I learned that. And so, and I say this again, the energy matters, and how we set it up is how it's vibrating out. And how it's vibrating out is how you're going to attract certain blessings that are going to come. It's a whole thing, but it's a lot of work to not check that phone, or
Yeah.
to give yourself more time. That's a lot of work because it's like we don't trust. That's what it is for
It's
me,
that
anyways. I
fear. It's
didn't
that
necessarily
fear.
fear, like if I do this, then this won't get
Yep.
done, and I had to shift. And I said, if I don't do this, if I don't
There
give
you go.
myself time, then this won't get done.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And how you show up in your
Yep.
business because you know what people think is about the business moves. It's about you.
No, it's about you. Yeah. This is good. Every when I do an interview, because they're all different,
Yes.
right? They all have different vibes because of different hosts. But I always leave. I leave like sometimes I want to cry because sometimes I'm like, wow, it's like talking through and having
Yeah.
epiphanies. When you talk through it. Yeah, yeah. I feel like I'm having one now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
As we share, it's, sometimes that's why talk therapy can be so powerful. And it doesn't have to be in a therapist's office. And I'm not
Mm,
negating therapy. I believe in therapy. But what I mean is talk
yeah.
therapy is sometimes just talking out loud to
Mhm.
yourself. It's fellowshipping,
Yep.
like what we're doing right now, what we did when we
Yeah.
first met and we got to talk. Like you learn so
Yes.
much and you realize
Me
like
too.
again the more transparent I've become with myself and the more vulnerable I am with myself
Mhm.
about myself, the more I attract
Yeah.
like-minded and energy.
Yes.
We always
Yeah.
people talk so much about like oh haters and all this negative energy, but you start working on
Yeah.
you and you will filter that
Mhm.
out.
You will. I decided. I've always this was my it's always kind of like a motto, but this is like really my motto, like legitimately. Read, watch, and listen to only those things that are truly in alignment with the person that you desire to be. So, like, I'm serious about that because I thought about who I want to be
Mhm.
because there is no shortage of chaos going on in this world, like ever, right? And we're always able to plug into it because of everything is always available.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, because the chaos affects us, the all of that, right? And I said, what happens if I just carry around my own atmosphere? Well, who would I be if I just kind of put myself in a bubble and I don't miss anything? I still get to find out who shot who and who did what to who. Like, I'm
Yeah.
never missing the latest in the current events, right? But I like kind of I put myself in an emotional, like a spiritual bubble or an energetic
Yeah.
bubble. And I say that read, watch, and listen to, because what we read, what we watch, what we listen to is taking residence in our brain and our spirit.
Yes.
And so I had to evict some things or energies that just didn't belong there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that
Mhm.
all of that will have you thinking the sky is falling, like right now. And really for the past
Yeah.
2 years, it's no wonder that we
Yeah.
are seeing so much illness because you know that illness comes from inflammation, inflammation comes from stress, and other
Yes.
things, but a lot of it starts with stress. And we've been so stressed out from so many things,
Yes.
heightened over the
So many
last 2
things.
years. This year, it's just
And they're still
it's
there.
still
They're
there.
still there.
And,
It's still there.
it's still there. And when you think
It's still
about business owners and entrepreneurs right now, everybody's like, oh, the recession, and the sky is
there.
falling, be afraid. And so many
Yep.
people, and I know that a lot of people are struggling in their businesses. Things don't look the way they used to,
Yeah.
but I
They
believe
don't.
very deeply in the power of
Mhm.
reframing and what you
Yes.
experience.
Reframing.
So much of our
Yeah.
experience starts in our
Yeah.
heads.
It is.
And so, if you
It
could
does.
talk a little bit about that, like for you and your entrepreneurial journey, because I know you grew up around a lot of entrepreneurs, and
Yeah.
how did that, and you just
It
adopting
did.
this abundance mindset, like how did all of that come together for you?
So I'm blessed with a mother who was an entrepreneur, and I'll say this. So I grew up in Los Angeles area, so Southern California, and I grew up in a time when my father and my mother were hustlers, not legal hustlers.
Yeah,
They were hustlers, but they weren't doing legal
yeah,
things. And over time, my mother, after she was done doing illegal things, thought, well, I want to fly right and do legal things. So my mother's been an entrepreneur all my life, and I was her offspring watching her create. And she's had a legal business now for 30 years. But I saw her doing it. I seen her fall, fail, not really fail, learn.
yeah,
And I think if she could do it, then I could do it. I mean, if she can do it, I can do it. And then my partner, that I had a child with, he was an entrepreneur. So I was surrounded, insulated by, like, nobody had a job.
yeah.
So I didn't never think about that because they didn't. I mean, I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. Every blue moon, when stuff is going, I was like, catawampa, all crazy. I'm like, I need a job, y'all. I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like,
That fear.
oh, I need a paycheck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then and I see them doing
Yeah,
it. I remember my mother. This is a true story. So she lost an account. So she's an entrepreneur. She has vending machines all over where she lives, and she lost a big account, a big one, and she vomited. She came home because they told her to get out, basically. And I just saw her, like, she was vomiting, and I was like, "Dang! Like, it hurt you that bad?"
uh,
But what I learned from it, I learned a couple of things, and I learned it later. But well, one of them is please don't have all your eggs in one basket, right?
that part.
Right? That part, because the fact that it was so catastrophic for her physically,
Yeah,
she was ill. So that was one thing. I'm like, okay, you don't want to do all that. You don't want to be so tight, locked into this one source where it'll topple you. So I learned that. And then I learned she survived. Like, it's been so many years now. That was 17 years ago, and she's still thriving. But there's also cycles. Like, ain't nothing always bad and ain't nothing always good. And I'll say this, when things are good, that's when you save your money because it cycles.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so being around entrepreneurs, I learned entrepreneurial behaviors and mindsets and how to weather tough times, and to know that there will be tough times. It's just, nothing's always going to go up. Like, you can have some good years, and then unexpected things happen. And that's what it is. It's like being an entrepreneur or being in this life is like riding a mechanical bull. You're trying to stay on, like, you're trying not to, they knock you off and you got to get back on. So being around entrepreneurs just helped me reframe, get up, just a toughness. Because I don't, if I wasn't around entrepreneurs, I would probably have a job, I think.
Yeah.
Because when Sprint was like, we gonna cut off your phone, or T-Mobile, or one of the, and I was like, maybe I should get a job. But I think if I didn't have them, I may have gotten a job.
Yeah.
But every time I think about getting a job, I'm thinking it'll stop me from doing stuff I enjoy. Like, yeah, like a job would be in my way.
Yeah.
so, so I have to, you know, some people are born entrepreneurs, or can be made to be entrepreneurs. And it is, I read somewhere, and I wasn't sure about the percentage, but there's only, for some reason in my mind, I thought like there are more people that are entrepreneurs, but obviously more people work
Yeah.
than than are entrepreneurs, and then most businesses fail. So the statistics don't look so good. Actually, they don't look so good.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So 25% of businesses, of entrepreneurs, are actually thriving after 15 years. And that's according to
So okay, so
data
say that again.
from
So,
2021.
so say that again.
So
So to
25%
say that again.
of small
The
businesses
small
thrive
percent.
15 years or
Uh
more.
huh. 25. So 75% of them, even of the small percent of
Yeah.
businesses and entrepreneurs, don't even make.
Yeah. And for me, that's the number I focus on. That 25%
Okay.
are thriving 15 years or more. And so what is it
Uh-huh.
about those 25%, those business owners, those entrepreneurs, what is it
Yeah.
about them? And when you look
I
at
can see that.
research, they have a lot of the qualities
Yeah.
that you talked about.
And they're resilient, and they pivot. Cause it's like stuff be coming at you. I'm telling, I've had a lot of stuff where I'm like, what? Like, okay, what? And you have to be able to just pivot like really quick. Like, oh, that didn't work. Okay, we got to do this, and be very flexible. Also, if you ask me, and I don't know if you asked me, but look at the type of a business that you're in. And I learned this because, so I'm a nutritionist. I don't work with clients anymore one on one as a consultant. I used to. And when I used to work with clients as a service provider, at the time you have to look at, can you scale as a service provider? Can you be sick and leave a while as a service provider? Like, there's some things you have to look at, like, as what you're offering. And then I realized early on that I wanted to be in the business of a consumable, meaning that whatever I was doing, then it was something that you would eat and consume, and then you need it again, right? You need that vitamin D if you take it, right? Or any nutraceutical, or a supplement, or protein powder. You need it, or toilet paper for that matter. Anything that you use that you need to replenish, staples,
Yeah.
right? Those are good things. But then there's always going to be competition. Always competition, always new innovation. So I learned this, consumables, right? That's one thing. My opinion, I don't have to be right. Consumable products. And then looking at the competition, and can they knock you out? And can they whoever they are knock you out with something better, something faster, something good. So then it becomes, I realized because our vitamin D is not the cheapest vitamin D in the world. For sure, we're not, right? Vitamin D is more like, it's more of a commodity, but in that we've added more value to being a customer. And so what no one else can do is be you. Nobody can be Charlene. Nobody can be, you are you. And so when you have a brand, let's say, or an essence or who you are, then there's no competition for who you be. And so being able to develop who you are, and as an entrepreneur, I'd say pivot, because things come and go. But if you are you and you continue to show up as you, then the people that buy from you, love you, support you will come with you.
Yeah. And you just gave a
Yeah.
whole lesson there. I mean, what you just broke down was
I'm learning as I'm speaking.
it's
I'm learning as I'm speaking because I thought about, because you asked, because you said, because I'm on 14 years, so going on to 15 years, and it made me think about
Mhm.
how am I still here? Why am I still here? Because how I started, what we started offering, and what we offer today is not exactly the
Yeah.
same. But what is the same is I'm in the nutrition field, so some of our products have changed. Um, but but to that, why do people last? Because they had a product that was necessary, needed. And then marketing,
Yeah.
we can't discount
No.
marketing, because there's a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're
There's
right.
a lot of good
Yeah.
products that nobody knows about because they don't have the marketing.
Yeah.
And then also with entrepreneurs or business owners, or we start a business in some cases based on something that we love and we're expert in the thing, but we're not experts in business or
There
marketing,
you
right?
go. Most of the
Like
time.
we're good at baking pies and
Yep.
people love our pies, and we want to make our pies, but we're not good at running the business of
Yep.
pies. And we don't want to be good at that. We just want to bake
Yeah.
pies because that's our passion. And that's another thing where
Yeah.
it's like you fail because you are not not understanding how to run the business. There's a lot. That's why, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
just
I'm like,
gave
shoot, it's
so
an
much.
uphill
You
battle.
given a whole class because, there's a
Like
few
it's an
things.
uphill battle. The way I'm talking, I'm like,
Like, y'all
dang,
take
yeah, it's
notes.
a
Like, I mean, a few things I want to highlight because I want to make sure people heard you. I mean, you just described having your unique selling proposition, that's because
lot.
everybody is unique. Like with the pies, you got to be able to tell
Yes.
people why you should buy from me. And it may not, I may be
Yeah.
using the same ingredients as Patty LaBelle,
Yeah.
but the reason you might want to
Correct.
buy my pies as opposed to Patty's
Correct.
is because I'm going to tell
Correct.
you how to pick out the best apples. I'm going to also tell
Correct.
you about how to use your apple pie to bring your family together. And I'm going to tell you
Yeah.
stories about what this means for me. And so, all of that is marketing, being able to show your unique factor. And a lot of times, that's who you
Yeah.
are. And you don't have
It's who
to,
you
if all you want to do is bake the pies, like what people got to understand is you can do what it is you love and you can make money 10 different
are.
ways because you can offer
Yeah.
a course on how to select the best
Correct.
apples. You could select
Correct.
something, a cooking class, a tutorial where people can actually watch you. How do you get the
Mhm.
crust to be perfectly flaky? Like, look at different
Yeah.
ways to generate revenue doing what you're already doing that you love.
That's why I'm going to go back to developing yourself.
There you go.
That's why I'm going to go back to that time you spend. There's two things, that time you spend, that my 2 hours,
Yeah.
but also I spend time studying. I
Every
spend
day.
time studying every day. Two
Every day.
things, maybe three. Three things. What three things I spend time? I spend time studying my niche, right?
Yeah.
So nutrition, right? So if somebody asks me a question, I'll be like, I don't know. Every now and then, though, somebody asks me a question, I'm like, I don't know, but I'll know next time. So I spend time studying like nutrition, vitamin D, like the body, right? And then I spend time studying the marketing, my business trends, how to make things work. I also spend time studying people in human behavior, because that's what it is, right? You gotta, if you're studying marketing, you have to know I'm not a master at it. I'm still evolving always, but to know how to get what you have into the hands of those that need it. And the third thing I spend time studying really truly is myself.
Yes.
Cause I'm like, every day I'm like, who are you again? What? What do you like? What? I'm serious.
Yeah.
Every day I'm like, every day I ask myself this question, what do you really want? I really do ask myself that. Cause sometimes it's like you forget. You forget what you, and I'm gonna tell you what I really discovered, what I really want. Because I've asked myself so many times and it kept changing, but I boiled it down. I got it down to like the thing. And that thing, which I'm going to tell you all, then helps me do every other thing because I remember what this thing is. And so the thing, what I really truly want is peace, right? So because I want that, and you got to work on that. But so then I can say, okay, to get to this peace of mind, what then do I have to do and not do? That helps me with my boundaries. That helps me to understand. So I'm going back to answering the question. It's like studying myself, my niche, my industry, and then the business of like how to do it. Those are the things. And then having people, you cannot do it without
Yeah.
collaborating.
Yeah. Essential.
I didn't know that is it's essential. I'm growing to know that. And it's easier to collaborate now
Yes.
with social media because we met, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thinking you can do something by yourself,
Hmm.
that's not like, you know how, like, because women, we're like, I can do it all. I can,
Yep.
just,
Because
I'm
that's
the
part of being
doer.
strong. Like, you don't want to seem like you
Yeah.
can't do it. Oh, that's weak.
Yeah. I used to,
You know?
I had the toughest time, and I've not mastered this, but asking for help.
Yeah.
Still, like asking for help and letting people know, like, I don't know what I'm doing right
Yeah.
now. Um, but I've grown into that. Like when I was in my 30s, oh no, I couldn't have ever
Mm-mm.
admitted I don't know what I'm doing. It's like what they say, fake it till you make it. But now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure this out like the rest of y'all. Like, and I need some help, please. So, yeah. Yeah, business is fun. I like it. I like it because of who you become.
Yeah.
I like it because of it's like business is the ultimate personal development
Oh,
course.
yeah. Yes. And it
It's an
never
ultimate personal
ends.
development.
It
Never
never
ends.
ends. It's just
Never
forever
ends.
and ever.
And there is it's forever and ever. And I think that we often say, oh, when I get to this, then I will be happy. I'll
Yeah.
be this. I'll be that doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist because once you get to whatever you were trying to get to, I learned this. Once you get to wherever you're trying to get to, it's a short lived bit of satisfaction. It's short lived. It is the journey to the thing that's where the value is. It ain't never the destination. Because when you hit the destination, you hit it, and then it's just, and then you're on to the next. Actually, you're like, oh, I got that goal. I was working. I got it.
Yep.
Okay, now what? You move on. Because I've gotten to a many of goals, and then I'm like, is this it? Is this all there is? Like, I'm like, okay, well, the next
Yeah.
goal, and the
What's
next, and the
up?
next. You're always,
Yeah.
yeah, you're always so
It's
very
exciting.
good. I'm having fun. I feel like I'm learning. Like I do.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like I don't know if you've ever had this where you're speaking and then you're like, who said that? Like, was that me?
All the time.
Sometimes it's yeah, you're like your things are coming out of your mouth, but they're not. They're your words are coming out of your mouth, but they were placed
Yeah.
there. So like that's how I feel right
Yeah.
now. Like I feel like I'm gonna go back and listen to this interview
Yeah.
and take some notes and then like
Taking
make
notes off
sure
of what
that
you
like
just
I
said. Yeah.
yeah, because I feel like it's me, but it ain't me. Like I'm
But see,
being
that's what
channeled.
peace will do for you because then you're able to be a vessel. You're able to be a
Yes,
vessel.
yeah, that's peace and love,
Yeah.
and I've learned so much about love that I never. I grew up just to say this, not believing in love.
Yeah.
Mm. Not
That's a
believing in love.
powerful
Like,
self-awareness.
yeah, because I was like, love is dangerous,
Yeah.
love is
Hmm.
painful, love is it's all these things, but it actually love is not those
Yeah.
things. Love is actually
Yes.
beautiful, and fulfilling, but I had it twisted.
Yeah.
And so I behaved when you, yeah, I think in life when you have things twisted, then you show up twisted.
Yeah.
And but what I realized, and love not just, romantic love,
Yeah.
but just like self
Yeah.
love first, really.
Yeah.
Love for God
Yeah.
first, love for yourself. And then all that love, it just comes. We were talking about our cats.
Yeah.
I love a cat.
Yeah.
Cats are the
They
best, right?
are.
Just to say this, all you dog lovers, I mean you no harm. But let me tell you about cats. Cats know how to chill, and cats be
The
like, I
ultimate.
got some boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, you said what? I will lick my paw and ignore
Yeah.
you.
And look at you.
I will look at the window all day and watch these cars go by while you doing, yeah. And
And
I'm
they
like, that's my
meditate.
spirit animal.
Cats like
They do.
meditate like all
Yeah,
day. All day.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
And they're just chilling.
Like,
I
okay.
know. So it's like
Like you don't have a
I
job,
learned from it.
but you
Yeah.
get your meditation in. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they're the ultimate do you animal, right? They're just like, mm, they're the ultimate, like, I I love when they look out the window, they just all day. They're just
It's the
at
simple
peace.
things, finding just like that
Simple things.
curiosity. And that's one of the traits
Yeah,
of entrepreneurs
yeah,
whose businesses are still thriving 15 years or more. That
yeah,
curiosity
yeah.
and being able to be
Yep,
still, because only in stillness do you get to connect with yourself and actually be able to
yep.
download all that info and that data that we're taking in.
This is something else that I heard or felt or wanted to say, because in business you get a lot of no's.
Yeah.
You get a lot of
Yeah.
rejection, a lot of things that seemingly don't go the way you would want it to go at that time. But if you have a knowing, I say, if God has given you a knowing, if you see, because people can tell you no, 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 but you got to say, is this a no? But I know, if I know at the core, the spirit in my gut of what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yes.
nobody's no can take away from your
There you
knowing.
go.
And only in your quiet can you, like, that's why you have to be quiet. That's why you have to, as you said, you have to be quiet. You have to be
Yeah.
still so that you can hear
Yeah.
what you need to hear. And that's, again, when we're being blah, 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 running around, that's when we're missing
Yeah.
the most important bits of information. So all of us need to go be cat like.
Yeah.
Sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere and just
I
purr.
need a t-shirt that says "Be like a cat."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Right?
what we
Just
need
be
to
like a
do.
cat. Right? Right. We might have a new business coming here.
I know.
Maybe. But yeah, right? Be like
Merchandising.
a cat.
Yeah.
That's what an entrepreneur, you need to sit down somewhere and just sit down.
Yeah.
Be still. Be still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stretch. They stretch all the time.
Yes, they do.
Like,
They
oh my
do.
gosh, these
I
are all those little
know.
stretch, and I'm just like, oh my
Yeah, they
goodness.
do. The cat pose. I know. Yeah, there's something to
They
behold.
are.
They truly are. Um, and they don't take no for an answer. You're like,
No.
don't walk across my keyboard. And they're like, you said what? Don't put your tail in
Yeah.
my face. They're like, you said what about who?
Yeah.
They're like, I'm doing
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
That's their mantra.
They're the ultimate, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they love you.
They do.
And they just,
They love you so
I know.
good. They do.
I know.
They
I'm a
do.
cat. I'm a cat. I'm a cat. And
Yay!
the problem is, I'm a cat. I'm a cat person, but my man is allergic to cats. What? What are we talking about? Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
have to really pray because that can go away. That can go away.
I know. I was like, can we hyperallergic? What can we do
Yeah.
here? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have, there's cats outside that I told you I'm a cat mama. There's some couple things going on in my life. So the cat that I have, is with my daughter.
Okay.
Is with my daughter. So I don't have the cat with me every
Okay.
day. Yes. So, but there are cats outside that I get to see being
Yeah.
catty. So yeah, I don't get the daily like cat, cat
Well,
in my face. So
that's one less
I
job because
know,
I'm telling you, I'm a
I know.
servant. I'm
I don't have to scoop a litter box.
indentured
I know.
servant over here.
Yeah, I know. And cats they have some personalities. I used to have the cat Carrington. If I didn't scoop his litter box like when he wanted me to, the way he wanted to, he would take the stuff out of the litter box and throw it.
They're very particular.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're very particular.
they are.
They are.
I
But it's,
know. Gotta
it's
love
all
them. Love
good.
those cats.
Before we
Yeah.
wrap up, I
Any.
want people to know more about, what you do in your business, how necessary nutrition can help them and the importance of vitamin
Yeah.
D because we open talking about like vitamin D. And so I want to make sure people know what products and services you offer through your business and why they need to have their vitamin D checked and if they need it, why they need to be ordering it from you.
That was a lot. So let me see if I can answer that. So let me talk about vitamin D. First of all, if you're a person of color, we are more deficient than anyone else. Vitamin D comes from the sun, but when the sun hits our skin, then that's when it produces it. But we have the melanin, so that doesn't make it as efficient and effective. And then vitamin D is critical to human health. It makes all the other systems in our bodies work. And most of us are deficient. And then also you can see by the state of health that we're challenged with that. So just to keep a long story short, I'll say vitamin D is critical to human health, even for mood and depression. People just know it for bones, but it's gets you some, right? And then necessary nutrition. I am a nutritionist. That is what I do. But what I love to do is share information really without having to say, pay me for a consultation, right? So all this years, when my customers or our customers buy from us, they get an automatic membership into the Necessary Nutrition Academy. And that's our educational arm where we bring in different experts in the field of health, wellness, and personal development. And we have classes that are salient to what we're dealing with, mostly women over 40. So we have a class coming up on the gut and the metabolism and how that works together. And by being a customer of ours, automatically you are invited to those classes and they're complimentary in addition to all this other stuff. So by being a customer, by getting something that you need anyway, comes with all of these perks. And that's what we love doing. We love to do more than it's like more than what you paid for, right? You're getting vitamin D, but all these other things because we want you to eat well, think well, and be well. That's the essence of who we are at Necessary Nutrition. So I hope I said all of that. And then where to find us? Where to find us? Is that, may I share?
Please, that was my next
So our
question.
website, okay. Our website is necessaryvitamind.com. So NECESSARY vitamin vitamin. How you spell vitamin? VITAMIN,
I had
right?
to write it out with my
Vitamin
hand.
D. I know. Necessaryvitamind.com is who we are. And then on IG, Nessie Nutri, NESSYNUTRI, Nessie Nutri is who we are on IG. So necessaryvitamind.com is the easiest way to find us and connect in and see what classes we have coming up. And our intention really is to be your nutrition and wellness partner and resource. And just by getting your vitamin D, which you need, we want to support you on the rest of your journey with your health and your nutrition. And I'm happy, 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 happy that I've been able to come to that at this point because I love sharing and giving and not having to monetize and charge for everything, right? And then the last thing I want to say to you all is if you go to our website, there's something free and useful, I think. You can download a checklist of all the things in 2023 that you want to pay attention to and make sure that you are in alignment, right? That with those things that they're on your calendar. And I think there's going to be things on there that you didn't think about. that's on the checklist. And then also, there's an anti-inflammatory meal plan and nutrition guide for everybody. And that is what people used to pay me for, but I'm able to create it, and I want y'all to have it. So go get that. You don't even buy anything from us to get it. Go get that checklist. We want you to get the vitamin D, but go get that checklist. Make sure you have all your stuff in order for this year and the meal plan so that you know what to eat, portion sizes, all the things that people are confused about, so that you can live your best life. We all want to we all want to feel well, not even just look well. We want to feel well inside, and that's just my lot in life is just to be a servant or a blessing to somebody, one somebody at least, right? So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And all those links will be in the show notes, y'all. So you can click and go directly to the website. Just go down to the show notes, whether you're listening on a podcast app or on YouTube. Just check the show notes and you'll have the links so that you can get those resources and order your vitamin D. Thank you so much.
And you were I just like you, Charlene. Like we totally just met. Like I said, it's just like, but I was like, I like her. Yeah. And you introduced me to a resource that the podcast, actually, it's a health and wellness
Sean
podcast.
Stevenson, the model.
Yes, the model health. Yes. We're giving a plug to him. Very, very good podcast. Yes. I learned so much. And what happens is that you shared that with me. I'm learning, and then the information that I'm learning that I'm definitely going to share with others. So it's cyclical, but I appreciate that because that was good.
Yes. I'm so glad you liked it. It's just, yes.
I did.
Yes.
Like I totally, when I tell you, like I needed that podcast. Like I really, cause I love to learn. And what you said to me, he said, sometimes it's like technical and it's high, it's, but I was like, I am in this podcast. I like it so much that I watch it and then I'm like, I'm tired. It's time for me to go to bed. I'm going to leave it on while I'm asleep.
So absorbing everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. Yeah. Angela See, this is the power of networking because Angela connected us. And then we connected again on social media, and this is a circle.
It is a circle. And I just want to say, women out there, Black women in particular, we have so much power and untapped potential that we don't even know we're abundant. We were created to be great, We just have to sit still and listen to what God is telling us and deposited in us. But when you do the right things in order,
there you go.
The right things will happen for you. When you keep the main thing, which is you, which is handling you first, things will come in order. I challenge you on that. Do it for 7 days or 10 days. Put you first on the list and see what else shows up in your life. See how your life changes, specifically when you wake up and you're prayerful and you affirm what you truly desire and you put something positive mental food in your mind, spiritual, motivational, inspiration. If you do that every day, for the next 7 days, 10 days, 30 days, your business will shift. You have to believe it. You have to believe that. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say.
You just shut it down.
That's what I want to say.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications so that you don't miss any She Confidential podcast episodes. I'll see you next time.